Hey friends, it's Tracy. Today I am sharing my Country Christmas candy cane swag wreath with you. I am so excited and love how this turned out. Now for the middle sign, that is hand painted, and I will leave a link to the video if you would like to see how I created that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Let me share how I created this Country Christmas candy cane swag wreath. Okay, to make the form, what I'm using are two of these 21-inch candy cane forms from the Dollar Tree. I flipped one around like this, and then where they meet, that's where I zip tie about 3 or 4 zip ties so that it would be secure. And then probably it measures about 29 inches before I put any of the mesh on. So what I'm starting with are these 3 10-inch mesh. They all came from Hobby Lobby. And what I did is I cut them at 12 inches all. And what I'm going to do is use that burlap and the snowball mesh burlap. I'm going to use those two together, and then once I put 2 of those bundles on there, then I'm going to alternate the white. So right here what I'm doing is I'm cutting these at 12 inches, and I will cut my bundles at 12. And what I did is I used both rolls of this 10-inch mesh. I like the cruffle technique, or woodland ruffle, whatever one chooses to call it. But how I do it is I bend over one side, then I flip it 2 times, I clip it, I turn it around, bend over the other side 2 times, or fold it over 2 times, gather it in the middle, and then I clip it. And so I'm doing that with both of the snowball burlap mesh as well as the burlap mesh. And then I put these 2 together, and I cut 30 bundles of this snowball mesh with the burlap. So 30 bundles for this candy cane swag. And so the clips I'm using all came from the Dollar Tree. Those blue ones, or the white, came from the laundry section, and then the small pink ones came from the Crafter Square section. Okay, so what I do is I try to multitask, so I have all of my burlap bundles together. So what I've decided to do is put 2 burlap bundles, and then I'm going to alternate a white, just one white, folding it over the same way, making my cruffles. And then I pulled out, I thought it needed a little more color, so I pulled out my green and red window pane mesh that I got from Craft Outlet, and that adds just the right amount for me for adding some red and green to this mesh. So what I do is I put 2 bundles of the burlap mesh on. I put one on the inner ring, like 2 rings, and then on the outer ring. And then when I alternate the white and the green, I actually put those on the middle ring. And so this is the red and the green window pane mesh that I was speaking about. And so that's what I did, is I cut those out, and then I'm going to do it the same way by bending over, the ends, clipping it, turning it around, bending over the other side, gathering it in the middle to make my cruffles. So I will just continue to go around this candy cane frame and just put, you know, the 2 burlap bundles, and then I alternate the white and the red and the green. Now, honestly, there's a lot of mesh on this wreath. And so, you know, each wreath maker has to decide how full they want their wreath. And so this is what I did. I had 30 burlap bundles with the 2 snowball mesh and the burlap mesh, and then I had 7 white and 7 green and red. And so, as I said, there's a lot of mesh on this candy cane swag wreath. Anyway, so just kind of give you an idea of how full you want your wreath will depend on how much mesh you need to cut. Okay, now the fun part. I'm going to get into the ribbons. These came from Hobby Lobby or either Dollar Tree. I cut these at 13 inches. I dovetail all of my ribbons. These came from the black and the white, probably Michael's, and then the red came, I think, from Sam's. And then this, the window pane, I got from Craft Outlet. The Christmas trees, also from Craft Outlet. These I got either from Sam's, Sam's Club or Hobby Lobby. And so these are how I position my ribbons for my bundles. And so I use my tiny attacher, my little stapler. It puts a teeny tiny staple in it, and so I can streamline my process. This is just something that works for me. Again, every wreath maker is different. If you're interested in this little stapler, you can find it in my Amazon store. You can use a regular staple if the staples are not too big for you. That is one question that I do get all of the time. But I'm just kind of going through here, and I take the extra time, whichever sets of ribbon that I'm putting together, I, bend them over. This is just something that helps me because I have them all laid out, so that way it kind of keeps me straight. Every wreath maker is different. I'm only here to encourage you and kind of share what process works for me. Every wreath maker has to find their own system. And so that's kind of how it all works out. And so then what I do is I just alternate these 4 ribbons around the wreath. Honestly, I did not put the ribbons in each pipe cleaner, only because it was going to hide behind my sign, and it was kind of a waste of the ribbon, and it actually was full enough. So I just kind of really focused on the outer pipe cleaners of this candy cane swag wreath. For the sign of my wreath, what I did is I hand painted this adorable Christmas tree and hand lettered Mary on it. So I'm just kind of giving you an overview here. Now, if you would like to see how I hand painted the Christmas tree sign and the hand lettering tips, look for the video in the description box below or in the iCard here. Now, to attach the sign to my wreath, what I used is this green wire. I think this wire came from Craft Outlet. And so what I did is I used the 2 holes that were already at the top of the sign, and then I used my Crop-A-Dile to punch 2 holes in the bottom of the sign, and then I used the green wire. I just threaded it through, and what I did is I just curled the wire, and it looks like it's part of the wreath for me. And different wreath makers attach their signs different ways, but if I have holes in it, I just use the wire to my advantage. I just curl it, and it looks like it's part of the wreath. Then for extra decoration and pizzazz, I have this glittery roping. I think I got this at Hobby Lobby in the Christmas section. And so I just cut off pieces of it, and I just kind of like loop it and attach it curl it around the frame of the candy cane wreath or the candy cane swag. And so I just put it in different places. You know, I choose to cut the rope only because I want to put it into certain places. And I only had this little bit, so I had to do what I needed to do in order to get the look that I wanted. So that's why I cut it. All right, to make a hanger for my wreath, this wreath actually measures 36 inches long, and so what I like to use is this grapevine wire, covered wire. I get this in the wreath making section, like where the styrofoam section is, and I make a hanger for that. And then to cover the back of my wreath so that everything is all nice, I use these woven placemats from Hobby Lobby. I get them during the fall season, and so since they're on sale now, maybe you can find them as well. But I like to use these because it has, you know, the holes in it. I just use you know, the additional pipe cleaners or the extra pipe cleaners that I cut off. And what I do is I just attach it to the back of my wreath, and then everything is nice and, you know, presentable. If the person has a, you know, glass door where you don't see the back of the wreath, everything is nice and, you know, put together. Okay, guys, thanks so much for watching this wreath video. I appreciate all of your sweet and kind comments. Thank you all for your support of my channel, and have a Merry Christmas and God bless. See you in the next one.